Hello and welcome to You've Seen It Before, Movie Reviews to Connections of Mind, and welcome back to my reaction series to each and every episode of Season 2 of The Orville. Now, if you're just joining this series, this installment, this is just my short-form reaction series where I give my thoughts on each episode of The Orville as they come out, as well as some analysis as to certain plot developments and character arcs that seem familiar and where you may have seen them before. So, without all being said, and without further ado, let's get into Season 2, Episode 14 of The Orville, the season finale entitled The Road Not Taken. This is picking up right off where we left off from the previous episode, in which we saw that Kelly from the past has been, after being sent to the future, having her believed to be having her memory wiped and then sent back into the past in order to restore the timeline. Turns out that didn't work so well because the memory wipe did not work. She did not go out on a second date with Ed, and the resulting ripple effect through time leads to an alternate timeline in which the Kaylon have wiped out pretty much half of the galaxy within 9 months. The surviving crew of the Orville has been assembled by the Kelly with her memory of the future intact, and they figure out a way in order to make the memory wipe work again with a long shot bid on the crashed Orville, and it is up to them to race against the clock and the invading Kaylon forces to bring the timeline back to its proper course and not get killed along the way, of course. This episode pretty much delivered exactly what I thought it was going to be. I loved the previous episode, the way it left off. It left so much possibility as to when Kelly did not go out on the second date with Ed. It gave the possibility of whether it was an alternate timeline or not, an alternate universe or not, what the implications were going to be, and they give us exactly that. It turns out it was not an alternate timeline, or at least it was. It became an alternate timeline until they restored it. I love the fact that this was able to see the Orville crew having to bring back them through their disparate backgrounds in this alternate timeline in order to restore the timeline to its proper form. I am sort of bummed that they didn't show too much into how where everyone was at their certain periods, and having to convince themselves how to that this is in fact restoring the timeline to its proper form and how it's supposed to work. I mean, it's probably for expedience's sake that they skipped that, but I kind of, part of me wishes that they kind of delved to that. That would have been a little more interesting, but then again, it probably would have been a 2-part episode. But I just love I thought that this was very fun. It was able to see them play somewhat against type in certain instances. Whereas this time Kelly is now the leader form in this, and Ed's sort of back where he was in the beginning of the series, where he's sort of second guessing whether he's fit to lead in certain instances. I love the fact that we get to see more of, this is more action-packed than I thought it was going to be, especially with the various space sequences and the battle between the Kaylon and the scavenger ship. That was definitely an exciting thing. I liked how they were able to I like the change to the Kaylon ship design, where they have the little ship inside the big ring going towards them, adapting there. Overall, this was just a great episode, and I thought this was a much better season finale than the previous season's last episode, which of course is where it was not intended to end. But this serves as a very nice season finale, and I thought this is a culmination of what this season's done right over the course of this season rather than the first season. Whereas, as I've said in the past, the first season was definitely more 50-50 in terms of drama and comedy, and they even switched off episodes where it's like one fully comedic episode and one mostly serious episode. And this one, they really I feel like this is the first episode where they truly hit the balance, and this is definitely a series that now can compete as its own thing. It's more finding its own identity. It's playing off the tropes of various Star Trek and sci-fi shows, but it's fully its own thing. This episode is the first one I feel like that it really feels that, and I can't wait to see how they delve into season 3 with this formula now firmly established. So some analysis as to where I've seen it before. As I said, they do play with the tropes of Star Trek and other sci-fi series. This whole thing about the alternate timeline created and now they have to fix it, even assembling the original crew back together. You could say it pulls from Star Trek The Next Generation, Yesterday's Enterprise. You could say it pulls from Star Trek Voyager, The Year of Hell, parts 1 and 2. You could even say it goes into Star Trek Enterprise Twilight from season 3. Or you could also go back into Stargate SG-1, Mobius parts 1 and 2, where the alternate timeline is created and they have to reassemble their team in order to make the timeline right. All of these have similar scenarios to this, where an alternate timeline is created and people have to be convinced that it is an alternate timeline and history has been altered and now they have to go back and correct it. All of this is just, these are sorts of things that this episode's playing with. And also, I'd be remiss to not mention the fact that when the scavenger ship is going through the asteroid field, of course they make an homage to The Empire Strikes Back. Of course they would. Do you really expect them not to do anything else? So, those are my main points of comparison with this episode. What did you think of this episode as a finale? Did you like it? Did you not like it? What about my analysis? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Did I miss anything? I may have missed something. Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate whatever audience I can get. This reaction is a little late, I'm sorry, but that is because I was on Thursday night, I went to see Avengers Endgame, and my review is now is either on my channel now or will be by the time you watch this. Be sure to look for that. Also, I've also been doing my reaction series to each and every episode of season 2 of Star Trek Discovery. All those reaction videos are on my channel, as well as I hopefully will be posting soon a overall recap and review of the season under the TV review moniker. That will be on my channel. And also, after this is the season finale of the season 2 of The Orville, I will also be doing a recap and overall review of season 2 of The Orville. Be sure to look for that if you'd like. Again, thank you so much for watching. If you like what you saw here or anywhere on my channel, please like, share, and subscribe. I'd very much appreciate it. Again, thank you so much for watching, but just remember, there is nothing new under the sun, and yes, you have seen it before.